You have been in development field for many years. We want to hear what would be the process moving forward, in your opinion. What's coming next for people?
Well, so there are a few things. There's how do we deal with the immediate emergency, which is all of the people and businesses that have been displaced from the burn zones. And so this is creating a shock in the local market. There are families who own homes that have been destroyed that have to find new places to live. There are renters in homes that other people own that now have to find a new place to live. There are small businesses that were the anchors of community that have been displaced. And there have also been people who had jobs at those businesses who don't know what they're going to do. And there are countless domestic workers, gardeners, babysitters, people like this who are out of a job right now. And so dealing with that is the immediate emergency. After that, we have to worry about the cleanup. This is probably, I think, going to be the biggest single bottleneck in the rebuild process, is the way that we do inspections and certify properties for rebuilding is not built for an emergency of this magnitude. It's really built for much smaller events. So that's a thing. And then finally, there's how do we rebuild the communities that have been destroyed, and how do we absorb on a permanent basis more people into the communities around those areas, outside of the burn area. And all of those processes are going full speed ahead at the same time.
Now, can you tell us about the cleanup process? Because there's a lot that needs to, can you tell us what it looks like?
For sure. So there is an inspection process that's ongoing right now to determine of all the buildings that were in the burn areas, are they completely undamaged? If you look at a map of the burn area, you'll see those designated black. They're the ones that are partially damaged, which you'll see yellow in the burn maps. And then they're the ones that are a complete loss, which are red, basically red tagged buildings. And this is a slow and arduous process that is ongoing right now of determining the level of damage to each structure. And then beyond that, there are toxins and other issues with the actual properties that suffered burns. And that requires environmental investigation. It requires professional cleanup. The government is able to do some of it. People are able to do it privately as well, but they still require public inspections to make sure it's been done properly before building can happen. And we just don't have a ton of people in the various government agencies to oversee this, to do it on an expeditious basis.
And to redevelop these, what would it look like? What would be the process to redevelop this? The whole city has to get rebuilt, or?
This is the question that everyone is struggling with. And when I say everyone, I mean everyone from the families that have suffered these losses to the local government agencies that oversee building to the general contractors and architects, all the way up to the states and the Fed. Nobody really knows what this is going to look like yet. But if your property was lost, which, huge swaths of these communities, the majority of properties were completely lost, for the next 2 years at least, you're going to be somewhere else, either temporary housing, or you're going to decide you're going to move somewhere permanently. Your kids are going to make new friends at school. You're going to sort of set down roots. Are you even going to want to go back to that place that was burned down simply because that's where you were before? In cases in the past where there have been large displacements, and a great example of this would be like the Century Freeway project, when we built the 105 freeway. There were several thousand households that were displaced to make way for that freeway. And there were huge public programs built up to provide replacement housing and to build new housing and to invite the people that were displaced back after the fact. And a majority of people who were moved for that freeway didn't want to come back. They set down new roots, even though they had the right to return to their to the area that they came from originally. It wasn't worth it for them. And I think we're going to see a similar situation here, where a lot of people may be in temporary housing right now, but that may translate to permanent replacement housing in a matter of months. I think a lot of people are going to get on with their lives, and so it's probably going to be new people for the most part who are coming back to these burnt out properties.